Look, whenever a man texts me and says, I hope you have a good day, I hope you have a good week, I hope that you shut the fuck up.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Hey, baby. You got girlfriend? Well, baby, me so horny.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me? Oh, you gotta give him that.
What's up, fight fans? Yeah, you're here with Frank Bay. Gonna cook a little bit. Topic of the show: cherry picks in boxing. All right, we know why that is, what we're talking about. But seems to be a lot of arguments, on social media, in boxing chats, and depending on who you're a fan of, that's where you're gonna lean, and it's fair. It's fair, right? Canelo Alvarez was called a cherry pick for Berlanga. They even said it was a cherry pick for Triple G3, for Ryder. Basically, all of Canelo Alvarez's fights are cherry picks. Recently they just said Nui was a cherry pick. So I want to cook on this, man. I have some things. Tu Marador, salute. Yes, thank you. Exactly, man. Cherry picks in boxing. Is it a thing? Are fans just always outraged, never happy? Seems like we have two sides, two wars, two factions, right? And for me, I know what time it is. I know who the Tank Davis fans are, and the rationale and excuses they make. And my conclusion was that it's a symptom of the Floyd Mayweather era. Floyd Mayweather was always made a catchphrase, a slogan: currency over legacy. He said that plenty of times. That was kind of, what's up, knockout ness, salute. Floyd Mayweather made the get in the bag, man. That was what he was about. Money Mayweather. He made no secret about what his objective in the boxing game was to the end game. The goal was to make as much money as possible. Fuck the fans. We're not doing baddie of the day. I'm skipping it. I have to feel it, man. I have to pick a chick and get her stats, get her numbers, present it. So probably gonna do it every other day, or when I feel like it. Frank, salute. Frank the Tank, salute. Negro, yeah, man. You know what time it is, man. Just dropping this boxing game, boxing knowledge. I don't pretend to be unbiased. You already know. Frank Bay comes in and I speak my mind, say what I feel, but I try to break it down in a rational, analytical way. Break it down from every angle, and then come to a conclusion, and then I let the people speak. Today's gonna be pretty straightforward. I know a lot of things are in the news. We have a election coming up. I don't touch on those things, but hopefully this is a break. This is a distraction. That boxing is entertainment at the end of the day, and that we provide a little break from the noise, from the nonsense, and talk our shit and say what we think about the sport we love. Because I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, I really don't follow any other sports. I don't know about you guys. I know people love football, basketball, soccer was big earlier in the year, but for me, boxing kind of really is the only sport that I really follow, that I care to entertain on a daily basis. And this week, you got Janabek fighting, I believe, in Australia. Looks like Nick Ball's going to be on a card. So, but not much big boxing. And then on October 12th, you got Better Be of Bevo. So in the meantime, between time, Frank Bay is here for a good time, not a long time. And, I just wanted to break down what cherry picking is, what it means. All right. I want to know what you got. Is Tank Davis cherry picking? Now, I already made my conclusion. I said, what's up, Franklin? What's up, Sargy? I said Stank Davis is a cherry picker. It's confirmed. Confirmed cherry picker. Now, why? Well, anyway, what is a cherry pick anyway? Do we need to break down what a cherry pick is? Like I said, Canelo Alvarez has been accused of cherry picking Edgar Berlanga, right? So a cherry picker, standard casual boxing definition is just that when you pick an opponent that is lesser than you, right? Maybe not as skilled, maybe not as the accolades. You're a champion and you're fighting like the number 20th ranked guy, right? Like you're fighting somebody way below your competition level. You know what I mean? Somebody that basically should not be in the ring with you. But then there's levels to that too, right? Like Edgar Berlanga was a top 10 fighter in Canelo's division, whereas Lamont Roach, yes, he's a champion, but he's not even in Stank Davis's division. And it wouldn't be a problem if this is a habitual line stepper with Stank Davis. He habitually keeps doing this, right? I'm gonna drop the link later, but make sure you hit the like, right? Hit that Cash App one time if you want to support and help the show grow, get some new flavors, some new things involved. But yeah, cooking on Stank Davis, right? Look, Stank Davis is a face and a name in boxing. You know, he's under Canelo Alvarez by a large margin, right? But he does have a big pay-per-view with Ryan Garcia, right? He's pretty much been on pay-per-view since for about 3 years now, I think. He has one big notable win with Pedraza, but he is a name in boxing. He does control a lot of the narrative. People talk about him. He trends. You know, Canelo Alvarez was just recently on the Call of Duty. He was on a major time slot with NFL football and doing major commercials with Call of Duty, right? So, you know, you have levels, right? We've seen the faces of boxing, the last African American or American. We'll just say American, just to keep it simple. You know, Oscar was American, and his fan base was Mexican American. The Sugar Ray Leonard's Americans. You know, for the most part, obviously, it's going to be American. And you know, part of the reason the big news for the destruction of Devin Haney is they were trying to create the next Floyd Mayweather. We've hammered this point home, is that, you know, boxing has been looking for the next Floyd Mayweather. You know, whether it's an American or African American face of boxing, they want an American, and if they could have their way, a heavyweight American. You know, America hasn't dominated heavyweight boxing for about 20 years now. You know, Deontay Wilder was their last hope, and we see what happened to him. Now it's controlled by Europeans and Eastern Europeans. You know, it's a sad day in boxing when the heavyweight championship, you know, used to reside in America, and that's what carried the sport. They used to say, so goes heavyweight boxing, the division. So goes American boxing. It goes with the heavyweight division, right? So that means, like, when America holds the heavyweight championship of the world, it's a major sport. But without that, then it tends to suffer, right? In terms of popularity, in terms of coverage, news coverage, you know, like, you know, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury isn't going to get the major coverage over here, and it's going to be kind of a subpar fight, just like with Better Be a Vivo, right? Like, it's not going to get the coverage and clout, and ESPN is covering it, Fox News, you know, all the news outlets are not going to be pumping up, so it's going to be a lot less hype, you know. So when Americans fight like Devin Haney, Tank Davis, you know, they get a lot of hype from the American media. I mean, this is what they're covering, right? So they're probably going to be a little more slanted, a little more biased, and that's what you're going to get. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. You know, Canelo Alvarez is a Mexican, and he's carrying boxing right now. Now, a lot of people don't like that, you know, but undoubtedly, indubitably, he is the face of boxing. Now they tried to create the next Mayweather, but it hasn't panned out. You know, you can't manufacture and fool the public on who you want to be the face of boxing. It has to happen organically and naturally. And you know, I was watching the BDA documentary, Salute BDA. He was here yesterday. The documentary, and he did Panchito Bajado, right? And I think Ricardo Williams. So these were young standouts, right? And they were trying, boxing always needs young new blood, and they were trying to hype them up. But it's nearly impossible. For only 1 out of 10 prospects is probably going to win a belt, let alone become a star and able to sell pay-per-views. You've seen the fallout with Shakira Twitterson. I mean, he's still undefeated, but people don't like the way he fights. So you have to be not only good, but you have to be exciting. You have to be exciting. And that's one thing that Tank Davis does have going for him, is that he can say that he's exciting. He gets knockouts. But us as hardcore boxing fans, we realize that it's against subpar competition. So, cherry picking. Like I said, they accuse Canelo Alvarez of cherry picking. They accuse Inoue of cherry picking now. But the thing with the Inoue and Canelo Alvarez is they have the accolades, and that's where the line is divided. Is that unlike Canelo Alvarez and Inoue, Tank Davis does not have the accolades. He doesn't have the belts. He doesn't have the names on his resume, the names that matter, right? I guess Teofimo Lopez was on the podcast with Mason and those guys, Mason Cameron, I think. The same guys that were trashing Shakira Twitterson, and he was saying the same thing. He was saying, those guys are boring. They're not who you think they are. They're little bitches. They cry behind the scenes. They're always whining, complaining, and we see it with Devin Haney. And a lot of guys that I talk to, like Matador, Technique, Sarge, we all understand these things. That's one of the reasons we're here, is because we see how the cuck media handles the Davises and Shakiras and Earl Spences and Super Buds, and we say, man, it's crazy that these guys get all the hype and they don't get none of the criticism. But Canelo Alvarez gets all the criticism. He can't do any right with anybody, and even upholding the sport, they knock him down the pound for pound. They say he's failing. They say he can't sell. He's losing, and you would think he's like one of the bottom tier fighters, And say what you want about Edgar Berlanga, but he was top 10. He was in the top 10 in Canelo's division. And same with Inoue. I've said this about Inoue, is that, okay, he gets a pass for fighting Donnie, right? He gets a pass because, he's run out of names. He cleaned out his division. What do you want a man to do when he cleans out his division? There's not much you can do once you clean out your division. Same with Canelo Alvarez. He's cleaned out his division. You're going to see this happen with Better Beef and Bivol, right? They've kind of contended next to each other for 3 or 4 years. There wasn't enough money in the fight. Turkey Ali comes and he puts up the money, and they're going to fight. So, the issue was money, but also, there was no reason for them to fight. Bivol was chasing the Canelo Alvarez payday, and Better Bivol was always hurt. Like, the man is like 40 something and has 20 fights, So, that's the thing, man. In boxing, you always have to look at these peel the onion, right? You have to peel the layers of the onion back, especially in the sport of boxing. Like, nothing is clear cut and dry, right? Like, even if I say something, it could change within 2 months. Just look back at lives from the beginning of the year till now, and you'll be like, wow, I mean, so much has changed. Ryo's a champion now. Pitbull, we don't know it. I guess Pitbull turned down the rematch with Ryo, so Pitbull's moving in a different direction. Ryo looks to be going to Japan, possibly. So yeah, man. I mean, look, man. When the best fight the best, there's going to be a lot of turnover, and that's just something that we have to accept. But it's hard to maintain your star power. Sometimes it's okay to have an easy touch. An easy touch, but the problem is guys like Tank Davis, Bud Crawford, they fight once or twice a year. And Canelo Alvarez, yeah, he fights twice a year, but I mean, he's undisputed. And that's the thing. You cannot take away Inoue and Canelo's undisputed. And that's the problem with Stank Davis. There was a lady in the chat. I was chatting, and she swore that nobody wants to fight Tank Davis. That's their rationale. One of the leaps of logic. Well, nobody wants to fight him. What do you mean? I thought if you're the cash cow, somebody rebutted and said, hey, when you're the cash cow, I thought like people want to fight you. We seen that with Inouye, right? Stephen Fulton. It looked like they didn't want him to fight Inouye, but Inouye put so much money on the table to get that belt. He was like, "Fuck it, I have to go do it. Like I'm turning down my highest career payday." So if you're the cash cow, people want to fight you. So I mean, what logic is that nobody wants to fight him? You know, same with Canelo Alvarez. Everybody wants to fight Canelo Alvarez because he's a cash cow. He brings all the money. Same with Ryan Garcia. Why do you think all these guys call out Ryan Garcia? Is it because he's the best and they want to challenge themselves? No, it's because he brings the biggest payday. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. But, you know, they want to use it when it's convenient, right? They want to say what's convenient when it suits their narrative. And so that's what we talk about here, right? Frank Bay, we talk about the narratives and what's bullshit, what's true, what could be true, you know, how will it all play out? And that's where I have my fun. You know, my fun is predicting the tea leaves. You know, I like to make my predictions and tell you what's going to happen. And, you know, 9 out of 10 times it does happen. I mean, I've been on a BDA and I predicted Berlanga and Canelo was going to be a big fight. I said that before anybody had mentioned it, and people said I was full of shit. You know, I said Ryan Garcia was going to be a face of boxing. This is before Tank Davis. So, you know, and I'm saying it now, Berlanga is going to have a big money fight. He's probably Hyper Wongia. You know, I know people don't like him, but it is what it is. I called Devin Haney, said he was never that good. You know, watching the Cambosos fights, this guy stinks. That's what got me in here. Is wanting, you know, saying, oh, I like talking boxing, you know, not knowing who's what and who's who. Went to a random channel and you know, I started talking boxing, not knowing where I was at, right? And when I heard, you know, need this, need that, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm sure they're boxing fans, you know. So I said, you know, I was like, man, that shit was boring. And then like I got jumped, you know. You don't know shit, man. That was all skills, man. You know, clinching is part of the game, man. You know, you have to clinch, man. I was like, man, what is going on here? Devin Haney stinks. He's trash. Same thing with Shakir Twitterson. They swore up and down that he was the most exciting. He's next, man. He next, man. You know, I said, bro, he stinks. He's pillow fisted. He can't punch for shit, and he likes to run around the ring like a hoe. You don't know what you're watching. Like I said, man, being a dead horse. But when you talk boxing, you know you have to know who's listening, who's watching, and know your audience. Right? Read the room. Right? Read the room. Know your audience, and you know, break it down. And that's one of the things that's missing in boxing is that, you know, media coverage fails to break it down. And that's what we're doing here with Tank Davis, breaking it down why Tank Davis is a cherry pick because he doesn't have the accolades. Simple as that. Yes, he makes the money. Of course. But that's the other thing. People will tell you nobody wants to fight him. He's trying to make the fights and nobody wants to fight him. You heard BDA, he came on, you know, we were talking about, had to end the show, but about Lomachenko, you know, Lomachenko, that was supposed to be a big fight, right? It was supposed to happen in November after Martin, he finally called out Lomachenko. And, you know, I guess after negotiations, a lot of reported negotiations, Lomachenko says no. So you already know, they said that Lomachenko's ducking and yada, yada, yada. But, you know, I've said this before and plenty of times is, you know, all these guys, Tank Davis, Shakir Twitterson. Well, T already fought him when he was young, but you understand that they're calling out the old guy. And if you go and watch Cambosos again, you'll realize like he looked old. He looked old against Loma looked old against Camboso. That's just, he looked like tired. Maybe not old. I mean, the skills are there. He looked a tad slower, but you could tell he did the passion, the fire wasn't there. Especially when you watch old highlights and see how fast and quick he was, you can see the deterioration. I mean, I said the same thing about Canelo Alvarez is that I'm seeing the wear and tear. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still one of the top fighters in the sport, but you can see the wear and tear, and it's just natural, you know. But also Tank Davis is an older fighter. He's been, somebody made a great point. Is that I wish I could give credit. Remember who they were. They made an excellent observation. They said, Tank Davis has been in his division through two, not one, but two runs of undisputed, right? It was Teofimo, very young, and that's like 4 years ago, right? Teofimo was really young, and he had less than like 20 fights, and he takes on Lomachenko, right? And beats him. Yo, salute, Alfredo, right? And then you have the Devin Haney, undisputed. Tank Davis has failed to even grab a belt. The belt that he has now is an email belt. He always had like a Burger King belt, they said, a WBA regular belt. And then he was finally elevated. So, his biggest win is Ryan Garcia, who people argue is a C-level fighter. A weight drained Ryan Garcia. I don't understand why we have to break these things down. You have to call a cherry pick a cherry pick. Lamont Roach is a cherry pick. I don't care if he's a champion. I don't care if he's a decent fighter, a good fighter. He should not be on the level of Tank Davis. This guy is a champion, and he should be fighting other champions. That's kind of the progression of the sport, right? You fight cans for maybe first 15, 20 fights, right? You just do. You just fight cans, and then gradually you step up your level of competition slowly but surely. We just seen Poo Carrington try to step up, and looks like it's back to the drawing board, right? OG Blaze, St. Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell. Ryan, the only one that's about that action, man, for real. He's fought two top 5 pound for pound guys, arguably, but they were pound for pound. Ryan fought him, handicaps and all, didn't care about belts. Say what you want, but he's fighting the fights, and that's because he has the name. They won't fight each other, so he fights them. Teofimo fought Lomachenko at with 15 fights. So, but I understand the progression of boxing, right? First 15, first 10 for sure is all gimmies. First 10, the only person who's really debunked that was Inouye. Actually, Inouye was fighting for a championship in 8 fights. But at the smaller weight classes, that's one of the knocks, right? Is that the talent pool is not as deep. So you can go for a belt right away, like Bam Rodriguez with 15 fights, right? Less than 20 fights, already unifying, facing pound for pound guys. That's another thing. Is you do have fighters doing it. These guys argue that Tank Davis don't need to do that. They literally sit here and tell you that, right? So that's one of the things I wanted to do. I'm gonna show a clip, and hopefully it gives us more ammunition to explain what I'm talking about, right? But just a disclaimer, I have to talk over it a little bit, right? Fair use. It's called a reaction, so we're gonna react to this. Hopefully, let me get it going. Hopefully there's no ads.
Salafimo for doing what he did. But I mean, we can't judge a guy. A guy is not great because he won one fight. To become a legendary great fighter, you must continue to go out there and beat good fighters and beat great fighters.
Okay, that's Floyd Mayweather talking to Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. It looks like it was a few years ago. I'm gonna show it. Let me just bring my it's just me doing it. Wish I had a producer, right? So here it is. Floyd Mayweather explaining the business of boxing, right? So this is the business.
So Floyd, what I mean is promoters are siloed with networks. We know who's where, right? So we're not even just asking purely about Teofimo, because of course you're right. It's difficult for business reasons to cross networks, cross promotion, all that stuff, right? Everyone wants what they want. What we're really interested in, at least I'll speak for myself, I believe Stephen A. as well, is that the best fight the best, regardless.
So Max says the best have to fight the best. You see how Floyd, he tries to use, hey, yo, salute, sober, Sarge. I'm going to drop the link. I'm just going to cook for a little bit. Thank you for dropping by. Hopefully you stay and hit the like. So here you see the angle of the conversation, and this is what I'm talking about. When this is the Floyd Mayweather era bullshit, right? The money, man. Get the bag, man.
Just as fans, and you're saying you're willing to sit down with other promoters on different networks and see if those fights can happen. Teofimo or someone on DAZN, doesn't matter to us. That's very, like, from the boxing fans' point of view, that's what they want to hear. That's, I think, what we're getting at. Not
okay. See, Max Kellerman is trying to corner him. Salute Mars. Yes, thank you. Hit the like. So I'm gonna rewind that, right? That's very important, and this is why I do it. And hopefully you like what I do here, man. I'm really about this boxing. I don't give you that bullshit that these other people give you, man.
Us. That's very, like, from the boxing fans' point of view, that's what they want to hear. That's, I think, what we're getting at. Not just Teofimo specifically.
Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
There it is. This is the jive talk, Floyd Mayweather bullshit, and you hear all these other jive talking Wakandans. I don't even want to use Wakanda anymore. We know who it is, man. All these jive talking motherfuckers come on YouTube, come on Twitter. Oh man, you know it's about business, man. But when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, he has to fight everybody. Yeah, Blaze, and then Stephen A comes and helps a brother out, right? Like, oh, you know, hey, white man, Kellerman, relax, bruh. And it looked like, and then Floyd uses code too. You'll see. Let's continue.
Because we know no matter who Tank fight at lightweight, Tank has the biggest name at lightweight. Tank has one of the biggest names in the sport of boxing right now. Along, well, of course, you know, as far as with Canelo, because Canelo had, you know, he fought Floyd Mayweather, he fought Triple G, what he fought, who else? He fought the guy at light heavyweight.
Just knocked out
Kovalev. So,
all right, so
my thing is this: we're all, as of right now, with the things Tank has done, and the noise that he's making, and how he's selling out arenas. He has to be the A side.
So with no belts, no championships, they're already talking about Tank as the A side. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the Mayweather bullshit that he started, that he created. Now, I'm sure it's always been around the sport, but in order to cherry pick, he's the one that created these narratives. And when you go talk boxing, they use this logic. They use these catchphrases. If it makes sense. If it you know, it's business, man. But you'll notice that every other fighter in every other division has to do it according to the sport, right? Why doesn't Floyd bend the visor pat? That's just style, man. Let's continue.
Well, let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years. You know, are you thinking Pacquiao still fighting with Eric?
Nobody.
But there's a few cats in the ring, if at all possible.
Yes, I'm 43 years old, and I had a great career, a tremendous career, an unbelievable career. My focus is October 31st.
So
Gervonta Tank Davis.
Gervonta had tried to tell people when they asked him why he hadn't fought the champions. Gervonta had said, "Oh well, I don't pick and choose." And I guess there's media of Ellie Suckback going around and saying it's not Tanky's fault. He doesn't get to choose. Wait a minute. That's what they say about Canelo Alvarez, right? That he's a cash cow. Same with Inouye. And so he picks and chooses his opponent. That's why he's cherry picking. But how do you make it make sense if Tank Davis, they brag he's the A side, he sells the tickets, but that he can't pick and choose. In fact, out of Stank Davis's own mouth, he said he didn't care who he fights. That he never asked Floyd for certain fights. He just fights who they put in front of him. You know, kind of sort of like when Manny Pacquiao was fighting, they would say, "Hey Manny, who do you want to fight?" And he goes, I'm going to talk with my promoter. No disrespect to Manny, but that, you know, talk to my promoter, and we decide, you know, whatever Bob wants. He would literally put it on Bob Arum, and nobody had a problem with that, So this is the blueprint. This is the fraud May runner blueprint, and they've been trying to make it successful ever since. So let's continue.
Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And it's a big event. I agree Tank is a major draw. I think in light of Teo's win against Loma.
So here comes Max, right? And he's the boxing head, and he's trying to push them to call out Teofimo, right? He just fought, the biggest fight in your division. That's the next logical fight, right? And Floyd's gonna jive talk his way out of it, and Stephen A is gonna give him a landing strip,
Lomachenko, who the biggest draw is debatable, but we'll see how he does on pay-per-view.
Draws, and nobody can refute that.
It's not debatable at all.
Gervonta's big time, but the point is, I still want to see him against somebody big time.
Teo and Lomachenko did the biggest. Teo and Lomachenko did the biggest rating in years.
So you see how Max corners him, and Max is using facts like, no, that was the biggest fight, like it was the biggest ratings, and you see the jive talk, right? The hustler mentality. Oh no, you don't understand. And Floyd's gonna use the he almost pulls the Oasis card. You'll hear it, and you have to read between the lines, right? And you see Stephen A come from behind and yeah. If you ever been in an argument with them, and then they got another brother there, they'll just be like basically a hype man, right? Like yeah. So Stephen A's being a Floyd hype man right now, right? So watch.
Hold on. The biggest rating on ESPN that you guys talk about, but when we got our fighters, because of course we got PBC as well as Mayweather Promotion. When we doing fights on Fox and also on Showtime, we don't have to go out there and talk about the ratings that we doing. We doing 4 million.
Okay, Floyd. So when Max gives you facts, you give a propaganda, TV deals that you guys lost. Remember that. Right? Hindsight is 2020, right? But you see the cuckery, and you see the snake oil salesmen that fraud is. That's what they are. They're frauds. And these are the people that you talk boxing with. These are the people that you listen to. And they may not say it, but they listen and talk to boxing with people that have this mentality, the fraud May runner mentality. The ones that have been trying to shove Stank, Shakira, Earl Spence, Water. You already know. You already know what time it is.
Doing 5 million. So we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, boxing
3 million was
rates.
great.
That's fair.
No, boxing rates. I think you guys rate. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying.
You guys are not going to take nothing away from us. We do great numbers.
Does it sound like we're trying to take something away?
Notice how he says, you guys aren't going to take nothing away from us. Remember there was just that Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us? I'm telling you, you gotta see it for what it is. You gotta call these guys bullshit out. There's certain people that do, but not many, because you're not gonna win an argument because they don't use reason and logic, right? So he says, you guys. Who's you guys, Floyd? Who's us?
Hey, for you right now?
Well, I'm gonna let you know that you're not gonna take nothing away from us.
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. We have you on.
What a smug fucking asshole. No, I'm gonna just let you know. You ain't taking none from us.
We're happy to have you on, and we're happy to talk Stank Davis.
Because once again, Mayweather Promotions, we are the past and the present, and the future of sports and entertainment. And
Really? What happened to Mayweather Promotion? You don't even promote Gervonta anymore. Your biggest fighter is or was Rolly Romero. Or I think maybe Carmel Martin now?
we will continue to go out there and dominate and beat the best. Me and my team.
I love it. We got to have Floyd back just to debate everything, because he gets after you guys.
Let me be very clear.
I see the Lakers.
Let me be very, very clear. I don't give a damn what network it is. If you are a promoter representing Gervonta Davis and we talking about the sport of boxing, you're going to be welcomed on. Period.
You see Max was pissed. Do you see Max's look at the end? Look at his look. Look at Max's like, you sideways ass. You know what he wanted to say. Look at Max's face. Like, man, you just jive talk me. You mother effing. You not gonna take that from us. Like, come on, man. These guys tell you. They tell you what it's about. Currency over legacy. It ain't wrong, but let's just call it what it is. And then you have next clip, fair use, salute. So salute. Let me get that up. But I hope you guys understand the context of the conversation, cherry picking what it is. And you just heard it. It's the business. Tank is the A side, and it don't matter who has the championship. They don't care about it. They don't care about the sports. And you will have people that could watch this and they will argue, well, no, that's not really what it is. That's just Floyd. What do you mean it's just Floyd? I mean, man, it's what they call getting bamboozled, hoodwinked. They've been trying to do this since Floyd Mayweather. This is what they do. I'm telling you. And salute this fine woman in the ring with Christine. Go hit her up. She's a content creator, and she says I can't hold it anymore. Devontae versus Lamont Roach, a great matchup. Our boxing fans never satisfied. So let's hear her reason and logic. All right.
Big hair, don't care. On the way to the gym, and I'm just like totally perplexed. I see a lot of people on Twitter and on the internet talking about disdain when it comes to, the Tank fight with Lamont Roach. I'm like, what's the problem?
Okay, so apparently she doesn't have a problem with it. What's the problem, Christine? And she covers boxing. She's a boxing podcaster. Go hit her, go hit her channel. She does In the Ring with Christine. She covers the sport. I think she works with fighters. And I'm pretty sure she's slammed and lambasted Canelo Alvarez plenty of times. Geez, I wonder why. This is what we're dealing with. This is what time it is. Cuck Lonzo number 9. Yeah, man, I'm gonna start blocking those accounts. I did want to, you know what, man? And to anybody listening, I'm over it. It's done. We're not gonna get on here and talk about what people are doing in the chat. I don't give a fuck as long as they're not spamming me, and I'm not gonna talk about drama that other people have. It's just not gonna happen. You guys can hash it out in the chat, but I'm not gonna talk about it. That's all it is. All right, so let's continue further. But In the Ring with Christine, looking fly.
Act like Lamont Roach has not fought anybody, and he isn't anybody. His only loss is against a former world champion in Jamel Herring. His last 2 fights with McCrory and Hector Luis Garcia, they were fire. This is a legitimate matchup. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, so apparently she doesn't have a problem with him bringing up another 130 pounder. Tank Davis is not fighting anybody in his division. They don't have a problem with it. Yeah, maybe she's a content creator.
Everybody says that Tank needs to fight someone. Now he's fighting someone, and people have something to say. Like, what do y'all want? What do y'all want from these guys? These are the matchups we want to see. It's going to be good. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now.
And I would welcome on here. If I would love to go to her channel, and we're gonna actually investigate and see what she had to say about Alvarez Berlanga. Who the fuck ever mentioned him as an opponent for Stank Davis? You have to be bald-faced lying telling me that you did. There's no motherfucking way.
Now, because I want to see more, but respect to both guys.
There's no way. There's no way she could be even remotely serious. Come on, is it just me or what is that? What is that? Look, man, should I just call it out? Is that complexion for the protection? Is it because she's partial to certain fighters? Is that why she's saying it? Is it because she's like BFFs with Lamont Roach? But there's no way that she was dead ass serious talking about this is the fight that we asked for. There's no way you could cover boxing and say that. I even as a Canelo fan, I'm not gonna go on here and cap about Berlanga was at the fight that we definitely wanted to see. There's no fucking way. There just can't be. So you know that tells you the level that these people are at. And these people talk boxing. They have large followings. They have platforms. They talk, you know, on YouTube. They're pretty large. There's just no way that they could be serious. You know, I'm looking to see what her comments were about Canelo Alvarez, if anybody could help me out. But I'm pretty sure they were not favorable. And people are bringing up she's on her Roach payroll. Is he that big of a fighter that he could have it? I'm not sure. But we got to cook these people. Adam, welcome. Thank you. Hit the like. Don't be a hater. I know you don't like Canelo. I've seen you before, but it's cool, man. That's what I like, brother. I like the competition, so to speak. You know, it's a full contact sport. But, you know, this is the realm of boxing that we are in. That it seems to be very polarizing, depending on maybe your race or ethnicity or everything will truly determine your outlook. You know, and I'm okay with that, but it has to be out in the open. We cannot pretend that these people are actually Tank Davis fans. There's no way you can be a Tank Davis fan at this point with that level of opposition. And it seems to be that, you know, on one hand, they talk about the best fighting. We just seen it, right? The best fighting the best. But then you have people that think like that. Well, it's about business. You gave me a like. Anyway, well, thank you. I hope you understand that when I speak from my heart. You know, that I try not to. Well, I already told you I am biased, and I do have my biases and prejudices, but I try to analyze boxing from a logistical aspect. So cherry picking. So look, man, you should go live November 7th for 30. Nah. I mean, I probably would have to buy the fight. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is the people that cover boxing. This is Floyd Mayweather, a face of boxing, telling you what it is. It's about the business, man. But when it comes, like I said, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, that's not what it's about. When it comes to Inouye, that's not. They have to fight everybody. They have to fight the best, up and down the sport. But when it comes to Tank Davis, no, he doesn't. He's an A-side, and legitimately, he's really not. He's really not. And that's the sad part about it, is that he doesn't really provide people the paydays they could retire on. At least when you fight Canelo and Inouye, you can like retire from their paydays. Like, it's life-changing money. Tank Davis is not handing out those type of paydays. You know, it seems like he chooses opponents so that he doesn't have to pay him that much. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko would have took a large portion of his purse or what was available, and Lamont Roach probably takes like $500K, right? They just probably double what he earned, right? You know, salute 18th Street, right? So that's another reason, is that he doesn't have to pay people that much money, and he gets the lion's share of the purse. Mars Boxeo, yeah, and they're gonna put Benavidez for the reasons that he says. I think they're putting the Charlos and Benavidez on the undercard to get blacks and Mexicans to buy the tickets. Well, yeah, Mexican fan base, they support their own. Now, as far as African Americans or Americans, it doesn't look like they do. I mean, pirating is an epidemic. The Mexican fan base, though, they pay for Canelo Alvarez's tickets. They pay for his drinks. They pay for everything. Yeah, Tank fans want Inouye to move up multiple weights to fight him, but it's too much to ask Tank to fight anyone. I mean, that's the other thing. At least fight somebody from 135. But really, it's about the concept of cherry picking. And you have to earn that. Canelo Alvarez has earned the right to cherry pick. And Nui has earned the right to cherry pick. The winner of Better Be of Bivol will have earned the right. Even Teofimo, to a certain extent, after he beat Lomachenko, he earned the right to fight Kambosos, which was a cherry pick gone wrong, right? But the nerve of cherry pick is they tried to say that Canelo Alvarez was a cherry pick picking Bivol. Now, Teofimo fighting Kambosos, that's a cherry pick, but you cannot, in any seriousness, say that Canelo Alvarez fighting Bivol was a cherry pick. But they will hoodwink you. They will convince you that that's the truth. All right. I'm looking for some things, but I'm gonna drop the link now. If anybody wants to come on and cook, tell me if cherry picking is a thing. What you think about the Floyd clip that I played, talking about the business of boxing, about in the ring with Christine, and she doesn't have a problem with it, and it's all good in the hood with her, right? It's all good in the hood with them, brother. Not a problem. Not a problem. What's the saying? When they do it, it's cool. When we do it, it's a problem. Well, that's the way it's looking right now. That is definitely the way that it's looking. And again, once again, I'm okay with it. As I was talking with Sobers yesterday, I'm not gonna start a campaign and protest and write letters to get anybody canceled. You're entitled to your boxing opinion. You're entitled to all your opinions. But the problem with the internet, the good and bad, is that it's always up. People can use what I say against me. When I come on here and speak boxing, there may be things that I say that in the looking forward, well, you look back and they were wrong. Was she? Yeah. Of course. You already know what time it is with them. We can't pretend that they're keeping it real. That's what I'm saying. There's a definite agenda and a definite bias with their boxing. It just is. It has to be called out, and you see it with the Tank Davis. They're okay with it. They're cool with it. And me personally, well, there's nothing I could do about it. There's nothing we could do about it. I dropped the link, hit the like, right? And another thing about the chat, there's no drama in the chat. There's no people spamming me or trolling me. Do you guys notice that there's none of that? And that's what I'm talking about. Is like, look, man, I don't see it. So I'm not gonna address things that really don't affect me or bother me. You know what I mean? But exactly, Eric knows I'm talking about facts, man. None of that goes on. So when people do, I'll handle it accordingly. But okay, here it is. I think Roach Yildirim level. We enjoyed the show. I appreciate it, man. Hit the like, hit the Cash App. But yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you guys appreciate it. In fact, I'm gonna do a baddie episode with In the Ring. I think we should see what she, see what you guys think. Is it a smash? Is it a pass? But I think she's taken. So, Marsbox, salute Mateo El Filipino. I don't think this fight does over 150K. It's during Christmas. Yeah. It's not a. She had the nerve to say that. She had the nerve to say that it's a fight we've been asking for, and I think the homies here. Salute, brother. Talk your shit. Hello. Well, hop on when you can, man. But
my bad, I was on mute. I didn't know.
Okay, it's okay, man.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man. Nothing. Just talking about Stank Davis. If he's a cherry pick, man.
Have you seen Lamont Roach fight?
Yeah, I've seen him fight. But I guess I can't say it was memorable. I think he fought a couple months ago. Was it on a pro box card?
I don't know, bro. I haven't seen him fight. That's why I'm asking.
He's decent, man. He's not a bad fighter. He was like a really top prospect at runtime, but he took a loss. Not sure to who, but Yeah, he's decent, man, but it's really about the people, that the fans that are saying that it's not a cherry pick.
Well, it's very obviously, cherry pick. What's up with this fool's earrings? That shit's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's like some like English.
That's some upper class white lady shit.
Exactly. Yeah, man, you catch the details. I never noticed that, but I mean, is he wearing pearls too? I think he actually had a pearl necklace.
That's crazy, bro.
Pearls and purses, and it's real. I don't know if that's the culture, if that's like it's swag. I don't think people say swag anymore, right? It's drip. Is it still drip?
I don't know. Do you think this dude dresses himself?
Huh?
You think he dresses himself?
No way he does. I think his yachts do, right? The bitch didn't she put shit on his toothbrush at one time?
Come on, he did that.
What?
He did that. You know what I'm saying?
That was nasty.
Yeah.
And she was like some Latina chick, right? I think she was like some Instagram model.
She was she's like a Caribbean chick.
Oh yeah.
He's going to kill me, please.
Yeah. She had like I think that's his baby mama actually. I think huh?
She said yikes.
You know he pays all the rent and everything, right? Like I'm pretty sure.
He pays what?
He probably pays like all the bills. Like he takes care of her.
Oh, of course, bro. Of course.
You know what I mean? Like these chicks live.
Well, that's why she that's why she recanted her all that phone call and everything. You know what I mean? She want the money.
Oh yeah. That's right. He did. Okay, so here it is. She said, "I'm not a hater, Canelo, but if don't get mad. Well, I don't know. Did you see that chick in the ring with Christine? What I put up?
A little bit.
She said this is the fight. She's actually a content creator. She said this is the fight we've been asking for. Is that true?
Come on, bro. Half of us don't know who Lamar Roach is, bro.
No, they don't, man. They really don't. I heard people saying that people that actually buy fights, that they're not going to buy this, but they did say they might have Benavidez Morel. Now, would that make it worth buying?
That'd be a good fight on the card. But I've heard that Morel's not. I heard they're not even fighting, bro. And then I heard Jesse Hart said that no one told him about a fight either. So it's like these guys are they're weirdo. It's weird what they do. They I think the UFC would do that. They would put out social media things. They would like put out, "Oh, we're gonna make this fight. We're gonna make this fight happen," right?
Right.
And then people start talking about it, and they're, "Oh, this fight," and then the fighters will tweet or whatever. They'll put out their word and be like, "I didn't even know this fight was signed until I heard about it on the internet." You know what I mean? Like they try to press the fighters into taking fights by releasing it on the internet first. You know?
No, that makes a lot of sense. I get what you're saying. No, when you break it down like that, I've seen that too, but you don't really think about it too much. And then it makes sense, right? It puts pressure on the fighter. Like, oh, then you don't take it.
Everyone's gonna say because if they say like, "I'm not taking that fight," no one told me about it. They're like, "Oh, you're ducking."
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah,
You know what? That's an excellent point, because I think I try to argue that that's what they did with Brian Norman. That Ennis's team did with Norman.
Yeah, that's exactly what they tried to do, and they got caught though.
Yeah, his dad said no. They always plan to fight that Kardashian dude. They're just using us.
Yeah.
And then, Eddie Hearn has a lot of fanboys, so a lot of people went on a campaign like, no, they basically said, no, you turn down the fight. It's like, nah, bro, like we didn't even know, like we just seen it, like what? We were offered what? And then he said they got a call. And he was smart, right? It's all making sense now, man. Is right. So it's what I said yesterday is then Norman was able to put the squeeze on him, because he's like, oh, you're trying to use me, now the price just went up.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because I remember when it was going on, I was listening to the Boxing Voice, right? Shout out to Ness and Damn, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they were right there talking about it, and then that dude's dad jumped on there, and they're like, hold on, bro, I gotta address this dude's interview. And they're saying that our interview that released like an hour or two ago, it was like less than 24 hours where Ennis was saying that they declined the fight and they didn't want to fight him. You know what I mean? And the dad jumped on saying, no, that's not what happened. He's like, I don't know if he doesn't know what happened, but we're still negotiating, you know? And I thought that we thought that he said that he talked to Jaron Ennis's dad and they agreed to do the fight later, like when they're for Undisputed, when they both have unified titles, blah, blah, blah. Right? But so Brian Norman's dad was saying, you know, I thought we had an understanding, and I don't know why he's going out there saying we're ducking him and we declined the fight when I thought we had an understanding. And also, you know, we'll still make the fight. We're not, you know, saying if we're trying to do it, if you're trying to do it right now, we'll do it right now. And we're negotiating and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it turns out that it did seem like Ennis' team was just like they're flexing the whole time, because then they try to go do that shit with Karen and they lost the purse bid.
No, you broke it down perfectly. You had all the facts on hand, man. Yeah, that's actually what happened, you know, because you listen like places like shout out, Ness Boxing Voice, and you get so many voices and people, man, you know, nah, fuck that, man. That's like 13 times he ever made. It's like, bruh, no, he's telling you they had a conversation. Like, what part of that did you miss? Right. And then his team never denied it.
Exactly.
So it let you know they were negotiating through the media. What you just said, what they just said was hard. Like, what? Like, and then they can use that against you. Like, oh, see, like we made the offer and you turned it down. Like, how? I didn't even know.
Right. Like,
bro,
that 50 million they offered Canelo. That you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then people just run with it. They just run. I seen it on Twitter. They offered them, like, what do you mean? Like, don't they have to have a conversation? Like, that's crazy, man. A lot of these guys would just run with that. That's why I never believed these guys, man. I never believed. That's why I initially said when you start seeing it on social media and not their own mouth, it's probably smoke. Like, they're just putting fillers for the fans, so they can start getting a gauge of like, okay, is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Do you see that as a trend?
Yeah, bro. Like I said, I see it in boxing. I see it in MMA. There was I think I mentioned this before, bro. I feel like there was a massive campaign on Canelo that they're doing on social media, trying to press him. You know, trying to get the public to press him to fight David, and not so much to fight him, but to give ground to negotiations. You know what I mean? To give in. You know, and like they're trying to, like, you think that, like, fuck, I hate saying A side B side shit, but the guy who has all the fucking leverage, you think you're gonna fucking squeeze him? And that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to do.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And they're trying to get the public to do it for them. You know what I mean?
To get Canelo to offer Benavidez more money than he would originally have.
Yeah. To like press him into making the fight happen under whatever means necessary type shit. Or you're gonna ruin your reputation.
And he did. It worked.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not working. I see Canelo's like kind of calling their bluff in a way, and that's why I say, like, he's making the moves he's making. Like, you know, he fought Munguia, he fought Berlanga. He said he might fight the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. I'm hearing he might fight in Japan.
Welcome him up. Jump in anytime.
Oh yeah.
You got me the other day, man, with the big say so. I really thought that was him.
What, really?
No, Sober's got me with the big say so. I swear I thought it was him. The way he talked, because he talks like that. Like, what? What's that mofo saying?
Like a dumbass.
And then somebody in the chat had said that's Sobers, but I didn't catch it. And then you came back a second time, and I was like, oh, that's Sobers. The first time you had got me. What's up, Amok? Ain't seen you in a minute, man. You been MIA.
Yeah, just chilling.
What's cracking, man? What you think about Tank, man? Is he your favorite fighter?
Yeah, he's my favorite fighter. He's my favorite fighter because no one's a better cherry picker than him right now.
Facts, right? especially being migrants, or what are we called, migrants? That's our forte. That's racist. No, hey, Mug, you don't have to say where you at, but what side of the country you at? Didn't you say you're in Seattle?
I'm in California.
Oh, that's right. Are you the Yay area, or are you in SoCal?
SoCal.
Oh, okay. You're more you're in San Diego, right? Not San Diego, but that's at Long Beach County.
No, that's someone else. You're thinking there's someone else.
Are you in the Central Valley?
No.
Okay, I'll stop. You can tell me if you want. Well, I pretty much narrowed it down.
Yeah, I'm in SoCal for the time being.
Oh, okay. Well, the fight's in Houston, so I was seeing if you were gonna go.
Yeah, I can't afford it.
Ah, come on, man. What is it gonna be in the Astrodome?
Well, nice. I mean, like, I can't afford me being scammed. Like, me driving over there is a waste of gas.
No, I know I'm just messing around. But what do you know about Lamont Roach? Because I don't really. I mean, I probably do, but I don't at the moment.
Lamont Roach, isn't he the guy that fought Errol Spence?
What? No. He's a 130 pounder.
Nah, I'm fucking kidding. Nobody knows who the fuck that guy is. Let's be real here.
Holy shit.
And I'm thinking of Lamont Peterson. Wasn't that his name? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, nobody knows who the fuck that guy is. Why they're making it a big deal? Hello?
So you're not gonna buy the fight then?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna buy it on TMT.
TMT? What's that?
The Match Stream team.
Oh. Well, I mean, look, if Benavidez on it, it probably helps, and it looks like they're gonna throw the Charlos on there. I think I seen that they're gonna throw Jermell Charlo, or is it Jamal?
I don't know. It's just, who is he fighting? Who are those guys fighting?
Probably like some Eastern European, but nobody's heard about, like Sulecki. I think Charlo was the last time one of them was supposed to come back. It was a guy like Sulecki or something like that.
Yeah, sounds like a pass. I'll watch it though, but I'm not paying for that.
Well, yeah.
They should be paying me to watch that.
Right. But so you think it's a definite cherry pick then?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Loma ducked?
How old is that guy right now?
Lomachenko, I believe, is 34.
Oh, he's still fine.
Nah, he looked, but you know what? But I was saying earlier, he looks like the wear and tear is upon him, and he doesn't have the passion for the sport anymore.
Well, then retire.
Well, he's kind of in semi-retirement, isn't he? He didn't want to fight Tank Davis. He doesn't have any plans. He said he's coming back. Oh, he's 37. Damn. He doesn't plan to come back till 2025, and probably not until middle of 2025. So, I mean, he's basically retired now.
Yeah, stay retired then.
Nah, but I think he'll want one more payday. Who would you rather him face though, Shakira or Stank Davis?
Man, I can't remember his last fight. Oh, he fought Maxie Hughes, right?
Lomachenko?
Yeah.
Is that the fight, or was it Cambozo?
I thought he fought Maxie Hughes. And I thought it was Maxie Hughes, and I thought it was an early stoppage.
Okay, so he just slew HLD. He just blitzed through Maxie Hughes.
Yeah, let me check.
No, that was a Zapata, right?
I can't even remember, dude.
It's that forgettable what Loma. Well, no, I mean, he got a belt, right? He came back and got the belt against Cambozo and stopped him in the 11th round. It was good, but he didn't look like the elite Lomachenko, if that makes sense. Like, he got the stoppage, but you could see kind of the the slippage?
I don't know. Yeah, it was convulsions, and it was like I think it was an early stoppage. I might be thinking of that fight or a different fight.
Yeah, Loma's last fight was Cambo, and he stopped him, I believe, in the 11th round.
Yeah, I don't know. If he's thinking about retiring, just stay retired.
Yeah, I think he'll come back for one more payday, but I think he's hoping. He said his goal was to be undisputed, but he's hoping to. I think his goal still is undisputed, but I think he wants to see one or two of those guys unify or something before he comes back.
Yeah, you know they're not going to unify. He's going to have to do all the legwork again.
Exactly, and that was kind of like he had 2 shots right against Tio, which Tio was the Tio arguably beat him. I mean, a lot of people, it was controversial. Loma started late, but Tio beat him, and then there was the Haney controversy. Now, did you think that Loma beat Haney?
First time I watched it, I was kind of buzzing. I thought Haney won, and then when I rewatched it sober, I thought Loma won.
What made you think Haney won the first time?
I don't know. I was a little tipsy. Had a little bit too much.
Yeah. But you think the body shots that Loma gave up the 12th round the first time, and then what changed the second time?
No, I was just paying attention more. When the first time I was watching, I was kind of like also cooking.
Oh, okay. Well, when I watched it, I didn't see. Look, to be honest, the first 4 rounds, I really didn't see much from any fighter, but I seen like nothing from Haney in the first 4 rounds. Did you get that impression rewatching it?
Yeah. The thing I was shocked about Loma is that he was the one that initiated the clinch.
Loma was okay, yeah, because Haney got accused of clinching.
Yeah, but I think he did it to let him know that you can't, like, it's not gonna work on me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because Loma, I think they actually had that conversation, and Loma had mentioned like, yeah, I'm not gonna let him hold me, which was his way of saying I'm gonna hold him instead.
Well, I didn't really see him clinch, but I did see him. He was the one to clinch first, but when he did it, he was still fucking him up.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that stands out in that fight with Loma is that he still had it. You know, that people picked Haney, and he was gonna dominate Loma. And what was Haney? Probably like 165 that night. I think it came out that he was actually like 165, and Loma's little.
Yeah.
And Lomachenko still pieced him up. Like pieced him up in the 9th, 10th. I think one of those rounds, like he was really rocking his shit, and that's when Haney said he knows what I'm doing. But Lomachenko, it's not a duck. My opinion was that he didn't duck Tank Davis. He just didn't want to get robbed.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, no, I think he already got robbed once against well in his mind he believes he got robbed against Teofimo, but against Haney he really believes that he got robbed. And they had the pictures of him crying. Did you see when he was crying and how they made fun of him?
Yeah,
it was pretty bad. I mean, I think Devin Haney even posted like, crying like a little bitch, which is funny now that he's crying like a hoe. But Loma, but now that Loma pulled out against Gervonta, who is he supposed to fight now?
Isn't Snokora in that still weight class?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, who would you have him fight?
I don't know. Shouldn't they fight each other, Snokora and Gervonta Davis?
Well, yeah. That's what I'm asking you.
But yeah, they should fight each other.
Yeah, but they're not gonna fight each other. You already know how it works with those guys.
Yeah, the Afro Anglos.
Yeah. They say they put it out in the media first. Me and Soder was just talking about. They put these things out like, offers and all this, and then then one guy will be like, well, I never heard of it, and send me a real. So they'll negotiate to the media, and then that'll go on for like a month or two.
And that never happens.
And then it never. Not only does it never happen, it never happens. Like Haney moved up, right? The same thing happened with Haney and Tank Davis. They were going back, negotiating, which supposedly they were negotiating, but it was just a bunch of jive talk, you know. Oh, he said, she said, oh, I said that, and you said how much, and then Haney leaves the division. So, who do you blame in that, Tank or Haney?
I blame them both.
And how do you blame them both?
Because they don't fight each other. They don't want to fight each other. They're never going to fight each other. Blame them both.
Okay, you blame them. So it's not. It's we kind of see it the same way. It's kind of ignorant to say, well, it's Haney's fault, right? And then the other side is, well, it's Stank Davis' fault. Like, it's probably a little bit of both.
I would say it's probably more Davis's fault, to be honest, because he's more like a diva. He's more of a diva than Haney is.
Right. Salute HLD, jump in anytime. What's on your mind? Opinions?
What's going on, Frank?
What's
the topic that I'm hearing you talking about? What the Tank and Roach shit?
Yeah, just cherry picking, man. And like, is it a real thing? You know, they said Berlanga was a cherry pick for Canelo. Some people are justifying Lamont Roach, and some people are calling it a cherry pick, and just you know, having the.
Well, it's a huge difference between Canelo and Tank. Canelo he's already fought the best. He's undisputed, and his career is already solidified. Tank is still a 30-year-old prospect. You know, so it's totally different. Look, the thing is, I've been always saying, we got to stop talking about this dude. This dude does not deserve any of the
limelight,
any of it, good or bad, until he fights somebody that's worthy. You know, and even this talk right now, it gives them exposure. You know, and that's the problem, because what Tank is he's just a globetrotter. He's an entertainer, and that's it. He's got a niche of group of people that will follow him hardcore. That's good for him, and he makes his money however he makes it. But then for us hardcores that we want to see something, we want to see his game elevated. We're never gonna get to see that. He's an entertainer. He's a globetrotter. He's not ready for the NBA, and he'll never play in the NBA. So it is what it is. It's not Mayweather's fault anymore. You can't blame Mayweather. You know, it's just that he has a business model. They're a machine, and this is how they're going to run it. And we're going to protect that and make sure we give him guys he could knock the fuck out. And, you know, his fans that get, you know, all moist and wet for him, then they're going to like it. And that's that.
Right. I agree with you. How do you feel about the Tank, the people that say that it's not a cherry pick, that nobody wants to fight him?
Oh man, I'm hearing so many people come out like you know, people in channels, man, really coming out. Oh, it's how you say it's not. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I just played this lady. I don't know if you heard of her, In the Ring with Christine. She's actually
she's my girl. Man.
Okay, well, I'm
she put one out.
Yeah, she put one out. Let me.
Oh man.
yeah, man. I mean, hey, it's fair use. It's all fair.
No, yeah, it is all fair use.
I put myself out there, and you know,
let me check my Twitter feed.
You kind of gotta take the good with the bad.
Well, there's this other lady that comes on our panel there, Gail. She's Hall of Fame reporter and all this and that.
Lamont
she gets to vote for the Hall of Fame.
They act like Lamont Roach has not fought anybody, and he isn't anybody.
You guys,
his only loss is against a former big hair, don't care. On the way to the gym, and I'm just like totally perplexed. I see a lot of people on Twitter and on the internet talking about disdain when it comes to, you know, the Tank fight with Lamont Roach. I'm like, what's the problem? They act like Lamont Roach has not fought anybody, and he isn't anybody. You know, his only loss is against a former world champion in Jamel Herring. His last two fights
man, we got a lot of love for Christine
and Hector Luis Garcia. they were fire. This is a legitimate matchup. I don't know what the problem is. Everybody says that Tank needs to fight someone, but it's this now he's fighting someone, and people have something to say. Like, what do y'all want? What do y'all want from these guys? These are the matchups we want to see.
Okay,
it's
that's
going to be good. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now.
I don't know, man. Come on, Christine. I got to get on there. When it's today Tuesday.
That's blatantly biased journalism.
Yeah,
let me double it back.
Matchups we want to see. These are the matchups we want to see. It's going to be
like I think she even like stuttered a little bit. It was kind of like a fraudulent slip.
Want to see. It's going to be good. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now because I want to see more. But respect to both guys.
And she trains fighters, I guess. And
she's an insider, so this is what I can say with how she may look at things. She probably knows Roach, she knows Tank too, and on the outside of the competitive, these guys are getting paid. It's good for their families, blah blah blah, right? All that type of stuff, and so they are already looking at it at a different, optic than we are. So I know Christine, and I know that's where she's coming from, but that's not what us the fans give a shit about. We care about the competition. We want to see the best fight the best, and this guy's a 130 pounder coming up to one. Didn't De Los Santos beat Roach? Or who beat Roach?
Shit, that's what we were asking me. I know I've seen him fight, but I'm sure. I think it was on like Pro Box the last time he fought. Unless someone wants to correct me, but
this is trash. Hearing fought him, right?
Yeah, he fought Herring, right?
Yeah, I think I heard that.
So did he lose to Herring or did he lose to
I think
Luis Garcia?
Herring beat his ass.
Oh, this is a cherry pick, bro. But it is, like I said, but it is what it is. Tank is a globetrotter, bro. Do you remember who's the last globetrotter you know by name? Because I don't. You know what I mean? So that's who he is, man. They're a machine. They're okay with making whatever they make from the gate, which he sells very well, and whatever the pay-per-view gets them, they're okay with that. You know what I mean? They're gonna pay what? They're not gonna pay this guy no $1 million to fight Tank. You lucky he might get 200,000-300,000. So it's a money grab, guys. It's just the way the business flows.
It might do a little bit better, but then he's gonna fight Jesse Hart.
Is that even confirmed?
Well, it's what we said it earlier. It's like Jesse Hart had said that he didn't even know, but it's kind of like a ploy they use. It seems like boxing managers and promoters are kind of savvy, so they'll put these things out in the social media sphere and see what sticks,
what bites and all that.
Yeah. And then you have Hart saying, "Well, I didn't even know," and then we said, "Yeah, they use that as a tactic." So then if he doesn't take it, then he's a duck or whatever have you. Like they just like
it's not a fugazi, bro.
Well, if Jesse Hart ducks him, who gives a fuck? Anybody cared about Jesse Hart?
No, it's just about the meat, the spin. The spin that all this.
Well, you heard what Samson said, right?
He doesn't know that there was a conflict of interest with Morrell. Morrell's promoter is Samson Legowitz's lawyer.
Attorney.
Yeah.
So you did hear? I'm like, what the fuck, yo, man? These guys. This is a mafia, guys.
Oh yeah. That's why I said the whole Benavidez Canelo thing. They work for the same man, or they work with the same guy, Al Heyman.
So it's, hey man, but I just said it's just another fight. I ain't gonna be watching of Tank live. I'll catch it on a repeat somewhere maybe. But I ain't watching that shit.
Well, I mean, $90 worth, right? Like, you're not gonna do the whole 90. Can anybody see that? I think, can you guys see that? It looks kind of hard to see.
You need that to be bigger, bro.
Oh, okay. Is that it? Okay, there it is.
This is Lamont Roach's last couple opponents. Virgil McCrory. He beat Hector Luis Garcia.
That's right. He beat Hector, the guy who
Alvarado. It's not bad. I don't think I've seen Angel Rodriguez.
Yeah, but is that he beat Hector Luis Garcia? But was that after he?
That's
already
right
quit
after
against...
after Tank knocked him out.
Knocked him out. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that legitimizes him somewhat because
it does at that weight class at 130, not at 135.
Yeah, 130. Yeah.
As HLD said, implied
he
earlier.
Lost Jamel Herring.
He could have fought Schofield. He could have fought, like, this one thing I can say about Shakur, that when he was looking for opponents, he literally went down the list and then got De Los Santos at number 7 after Frank Martin pulled out of the. So at least he did that. Tank ain't even doing that. He just skipped the whole damn division and he got a 130-pounder to fight him. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. At least, man, go down the line. You want it? Yes or no? No, you want it? At least we know that you're doing your part. And whoever it lands on, I would have rather him fight De Los Santos, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the other thing about cherry picking is that sometimes it's okay. Like, don't get me. Sometimes my thing is okay if you're fighting like 3-4 times a year and you throw one in between. The problem is Tank Davis fights 2 times a year and they're all on pay-per-view. So you really are not.
That's when he's active. That's when he's on fire.
Yeah, and then they're gonna say the last fight wasn't a cherry pick, but if you remember correctly, Ricky Martin got a gift decision against Artem.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah. Frank Martin or whatever his fucking name is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you remember that fight when when Martin fought Artem, and I was just surprised.
It was controversial.
Yeah, he was definitely robbed.
He knocked him down in the final round, which helped. But yeah, he was getting pieced up, and he did not look good enough to earn a fight with Tank Davis. But yeah, man, I mean, again, it's okay. I think cherry picking is okay. I don't know how you guys feel.
I'm with what you're saying, Frank. I mean, but back in the day, normally the champion would fight one solid fighter, right, and then go fight, whatever fight he wants to make. 2 fights in a row, maybe fight his buddy or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But it was like that. You fight at least one top dog, and then you fight 1 or 2, lower ranked fighters.
Yeah,
well, they usually had a reason. Like, for instance, they'd get injured. Well, fuck it. They're going to just have a tune-up now.
And that's how it was back in the day. But this once a year, twice a year bullshit, it doesn't work for any of these guys, man. It doesn't. I mean, you could see that the skill levels for these fighters are not there. It's bad enough that the majority of the best athletes, at least here in America, they're not going for boxing. So we're just getting whatever we get. These are not the best athletes out there in the sport. They're just not. And so now we got whatever we have, and they're only fighting once or twice a year. You're not going to get the best of the best out there.
Look, Christine, I hear what you say. See, that's the thing, is people can make good points on a bad take. Like, you can make good points. You make good points like, well, he's a champion. The problem I had is people, not her, but other people were saying, well, nobody wants to fight him. And there's a little truth to that, because if you look at the screen, the ring is vacant. Okay, so Lomachenko, he said no. So, okay, Tank gets a pass. Now we know the background, but just follow me. Zepeda, him and Stevenson are lined up for February, so they're not available. Baranchik, would Tank Baranchik sell? He's the other champion.
Probably not.
So, I mean, I guess he could get somewhat of a pass. Murataya, probably not ready. Keyshawn Davis, Tank Davis, these are people in the division. He beat Frank Martin. Chamberlain and Andy Cruz, they're probably not ready. So that's the division, man. But the name I did hear is De Los Santos would have been a really good opponent. Has anybody heard why or what the excuse was for that?
He's on their side. They're not going to put them two together, man. He's a PBC boy. And then why didn't they? And I didn't see Schofield on that list.
You know what? Schofield and Tank right now really don't make sense. I'm just going to be honest. And then Sargent is saying Murataya has a fight. So As far as the names, you know, the top names are busy right now, or Lomachenko said no. So
you offer the fight to Murataya, they'll take that fight and they'll cancel that or whatever fight they got.
You think Murataya would have took a Tank Davis fight?
Yeah, he would. Absolutely.
I didn't even hear anybody say his name.
Robert Garcia would absolutely take that fight.
I know when Shakira,
he was mad that Shakur took the fight with Cardina instead of giving it to Murataya.
Exactly. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a sellout to me, to be honest. Never. Well, at least when I was.
Who is Tank fighting that's a sellout?
No, I'm talking about Garcia. I don't think he'll sell out his people just like that.
There's not a sellout. Any of the promoters out there will take that fight. Okay, versus Tank. It's a money fight.
Yeah, but
there's no. This is not friendship. This is business.
You know he's gonna have a dehydration clause.
So.
Yeah, so he's not. Him knowing that he's not gonna have his fighter go through that bullshit.
I say he absolutely would. Versus Tank, yeah.
Nah.
Nobody's denying the verdict. Yo, man, if he had the IBF belt, what are they gonna do? Say no? They can't do nothing about it. There's nothing wrong with the 10-pound rehydration rule. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with a catch weight and rehydration rule, but rehydration rule, no problem at all.
Well, that was the other thing is the El Royo Valenzuela had turned down the fight, but we know the circumstances around that. Are you guys aware of the circumstances?
It wasn't really a legitimate offer. It was just like, you know, we're thinking about it. You know, you want to, you know, but you know, would you come down to 135? And you know, it took no traction because he's a champion at 140, just like Garcia said. Why the fuck would I go down as a champion?
You know what? That's the other thing is like, okay, why does he keep bringing people up? Like, okay, call Canelo. You know, they said Canelo Bivol was a cherry pick, but that's Canelo going up. Why didn't
he's going up? Exactly.
Tank Davis probably could have sold a better fight by just picking a 140 pounder and saying, well, look, even if it's not the name that you want, you could say, okay, but it's going up in weight, which matters more than fighting a smaller guy, even though he's a champion. Agree or disagree?
I think had he just picked a solid 135 right now, just a solid 135 pounder, that would have been cool.
Well, the names weren't really there, to be honest.
But is Lamont Roach any better? Coming up from 130?
Well, what's a better name, Murataya or Lamont Roach?
I would have gone with Murataya.
Easily.
I would have gone with Murataya.
But I'm speaking from what the Tank Davis psycho fans are gonna say, the fans, because I'm seeing it. That's what I'm saying.
Hey man, he's Mexican. You know, he's flat-footed. He's what they want, right?
He's too dangerous. Look, we know he's too dangerous.
Murataya, I don't know, man. He hasn't looked sharp in his last few fights. I'm not gonna be honest with that. He's won them, but they weren't of the sharpest. I think he might be dehydrated, as my man was trying to talk about as far as weight class. But if he's fighting at 135, it is what it is. Move up then.
Yeah, no, I hear what you guys are saying, but from a boxing perspective, yeah, Murataya, they feel like he's too dangerous. That's what I would think if Tank Davis is looking at it. It's super safe fighting a 130 pounder.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to what I'm saying. He's a globetrotter. The business rules. We're gonna take an easy cherry pick again that we can over dominate. We feel that we can really beat his ass. We'll still make some money. He's a champion at 130. You know what I mean? All that bullshit. He is a champion at 130, right, Roach?
Yeah. He beat
so there you go.
That's the thing. The WBA made an exception that he can keep his belt, so that he can go up and challenge Gervonta for his WBA belt.
This guy's gonna have a hard time beating any of the other champions at 130. You think he's gonna be able to beat Tank? That's like keep it a buck.
Well, it's like your girl said. It's good for him. Like it's hitting the lottery, right? Like we were saying, anybody would want to fight Tank Davis. There's people saying that nobody wants to fight Tank Davis. That's something a lady told me.
No.
She literally had she's cool, but she was like, nobody wants to fight him.
That's not true.
Well,
the difference with Tank and Shakur, for an example, there's a decent payday with Tank and exposure versus Shakur, which he's gonna make you look bad because it's just a fucked up ass style. It's a boring ass fight, so it's a shit fight. You're probably gonna lose in a shit manner, and you're not gonna get paid as much probably. So there's a difference. All right, so I fight this guy, make more money. It's a bigger fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a difference between the two. No, ain't nobody gonna turn down it's the same thing with Canelo. Who's gonna turn down a Canelo fight? You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna turn it down. And so it's a once in a lifetime payday. I mean, you see all the fighters after they fight Canelo. Thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. So
Caleb Plant did, but that was a power move, right? To kind of like get more money.
I think they knew what they were doing, but it wasn't really a turn down. That was gonna get back on the table. But they're all thankful, right? Because it's at the end of the day, these guys are human. They got families. It's life after boxing, and so it's a job. For us, it's more of the competitor stuff. But once you're in the business, and then these fighters, they see how dirty this business is. Like I've always said, there's very few fighters who are built in this game to be able to fight for legacy only, because the game is so dirty, and then you have to be good enough to even fight for that.
And I agree. I don't have a problem with any of it. Literally, I mean, if you listen to me and I'm bashing them, but I get it from that perspective. What you're saying and what Christine was saying, I get it. I think there's a difference between saying I get it, but I don't like it.
Exactly. I don't like it, bro. I don't like it at all.
I could get it, but I don't have to like it. And if he wants to get the bag, get the bag. But it's also gonna backfire because it's not gonna do well. That sounds like some hater shit though, right? Like it ain't gonna do well. But is it really?
When is the fight scheduled for? Is it November or December?
The Lomachenko was supposed to be November, but they've had to put it. At first it was earlier in December. Now it's at the end of December, I believe. So they have to keep pushing it back because I really believe the backlash. They there's no way they can't see the backlash.
Well, you could. I'm surprised if Christine did that too, but you see a lot of people out there, trying to. Oh, it is what it is, nothing else. Nah, man, this is a shit fight. Another Globetrotter fight, man.
And again, I only picked her because she was number one. She was on my Twitter feed. Number two, I've seen her before, and she does boxing content, and she understands boxing. So that's why I wanted to do it, because she said this is everything she said was fine. It's rational, it's logical, but that we wanted to see. That's the part that I had an issue with, especially if you claim to be be in boxing and speak boxing. That can't be true. Even Berlanga Canelo, I didn't sit here and say that's a fight we all wanted to see, but you understood.
So sometimes a lot of these content creators, especially the ones who are like really on the inside of the game, they know these fighters personally. You know what I mean? And so they understand the whys of how they're doing it, and they just look at more on the benefit side for the fighter, not so much for the public. She's a big, like Christine, she's a big time fan of Crawford, but she'll justify him fighting David Kardashian. You know what I mean? Or fighting this 10-win fighter. I'm like, I wasn't down with those fights, but she sees what it does for them. You know what I mean? And we're not into it. I remember when they were talking about Tank and Rayo, like a few weeks back, and Gail, she's a reporter and she's also a Hall of Fame voter. She was on the panel, and they're literally we're like, man, we don't want to see that shit, no Tank and Rayo. And she literally told us it was Calix on there, and they're like, we need to stop complaining. In other words, just shut up and dribble type of shit, man.
Okay.
Like, what? We gotta complain with it? Like, hey, whatever you guys say, it ain't gonna change anything. She's telling us, and we're like, you gotta be kidding me. You can take that sense of shit the fuck out of here. But when you're on the inside, they see it differently, and I think they're not like us anymore at all. They see something different. They see the business side of it, and the individual stuff what it does for these fighters. And for the most part, we over here, I mean, competition first, the business later. But that's just not the realistic thing about the sport. Professional boxing is a business.
And again, that's fine, but why? See, that's the difference. It's like, now I consider myself a knowledgeable fan. I don't know everything, but just as speaking to you guys, I consider you guys knowledgeable fans. So we can see that as well. Like I just said, I can see the business side. Everything she said made perfect sense, but I can point out the propaganda about, well, this is what we all wanted to see. Like we can see the business side. Like I just said, cherry picks are okay. They exist. They're okay. Like, better be a Vivo. Nobody's gonna be mad if they fight like the fucking 20th ranked dude after that fight, right?
No, I wouldn't have a problem.
Shit, I really don't care for that.
I mean, it'll be a top 15 at the very most.
Right, but you know what's gonna happen. They're gonna milk it. I'd milk it.
Honestly, fight Canelo, which is what I think is gonna happen.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, to be fair, they've been milking it. That fight should have happened years ago.
Right, but knowing the sport of boxing, with like Nick Ball, he's fighting Rios coming up. He's milking it. Right?
Well, he just beat that one guy, right?
Yeah, so he gets to go get a homecoming fight.
Good for him. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I got no.
Saying? Like, one person who didn't get to milk it but kind of did was Cambozo. Cambozo, he was in a position where it looked like he was gonna go back home and do a homecoming fight after like a victory tour, like a victory lap. I just won the title, I'm gonna go home, fight once or twice, but he was offered such good money from where he was.
That's what it was. He was at a different advantage, bro. He was at a different advantage. His fights that were offered to him were so damn good, he couldn't turn it down.
Right. But what he was able to do to milk it, to make it make sense, was he was able to put an automatic rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was able to double dip after getting his ass whipped, but it was his way of milking the undisputed. Shakira, another way fighters milk it is like Shakira did, win the title against Valdez, then he gets to move up and fight Yoshino. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, to be fair, when fighters move up, I could understand having them light touches because they gotta adjust to the from moving up, and then on top of that, the competition they should climb up as well. So it's kind of like starting all over again, if that makes sense.
Of course. But that doesn't mean you fight the lowest dude that you can. Like, you still should probably fight well, I guess top 10, but Yoshino, that was trash. Like, it was a milk. It was an obvious case of milk, but yes, because he was moving up in weight, just like what Benavidez did, right? He's moving up, so he has kind of a built-in excuse to take on a retired Gvozdyk, but then he's doing it again, and that's what I'm saying. And he's inactive, so he doesn't get the pleasure of milking it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's easy. It's easiest to watch the fights and follow the sport because this is just it's not fun, bro. I mean, it hasn't been fun for me for a good minute.
Come on, no. Look, I think my passion lies in talking about who the best is, right? Like, and I'll argue that Tank is nowhere near the best. You see what I'm saying?
He's not even pound for pound for me.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I do it, because it's like I see Ring Magazine, and I always say the cuck media, they give these guys endless passes. I guess there's a tape of Ellie Suckback, and he's telling you, well, the Tank gets a pat. He doesn't get to pick who he chooses. That's what that guy, and that guy has a major platform, and he's putting out that propaganda. What do you think about that?
It's I met that guy in person. He's a fucking goofball, dude.
He's not a goofball in itself. He brings a lot of content we don't get. Nobody gets to interview all the guys he does.
Wait till you meet that dumbass.
It's a job for him, just like anybody else has a job, and so it's content creating, not content reporting. You know what I mean? And it's reporting maybe when he gets all these other interviews, but then he has his biases, and like he has with Tank. But that's his money card. You know how many views he gets because of Tank? You know what I mean? So it's a job for these guys. You know what I mean? And that's how it is. But he does bring a lot of content, a lot of interviews and a lot of inside stuff that nobody else gets all the time. You know, he's one of the hardest working guys out there. I give him that. You know, there's no way you can take that away from Elie Sept. He's probably the hardest working reporter in the game, and he doesn't have a crew. You know what I mean? So, but is there bias and stuff? Yeah, there is. But it's because when you look at anybody talking about Stank Davis, you know, the casuals go watch. You know, just the same thing with the name with Canelo. You use Canelo or Tank's name, if you're a content creator, good or bad, you're gonna get traffic, and that's money, and so that's how they see it.
Yeah, but what do you feel about him? I'm gonna try to pull it up about what he said just recently about that Tank Davis doesn't pick who he gets to pick who he fights. He said no fighter gets to do that.
That's not true. We know that. That's not true. I mean, didn't Ryan just do that with his promoter? I want to fight Tank. I don't care. Do whatever we got to do. I want this fight now. Got his ass kicked, but he got the fight.
Yeah. Well, we know that same thing happened to Fulton in Anui, right? I guess I had actually gone back and forth with Fulton on Twitter because I was like, "You ducking Anui," and he was like, "Nah, they don't want to fight me." But I think the pressure got to him because what I had seen through social media was that PBC really didn't want that for him, but he kind of came out and was like, "No, I'm gonna do it." And he made that fight happen. Fulton made the Nui fight happen. He got a lot of props for that. But if he would have listened to his handlers, that fight would have never happened.
Yeah, because look. There's a reason why they don't want to put Tank versus the bus. They know damn very well he is not all that, and he can lose. Throwing 20 punches around, 25 punches around. That's not going to cut it against a top elite fighter. That's just not going to cut it. Not with someone who's as athletic, it's not going to cut it. So yeah, the increased chances of losing is big. And then if he loses, they lose everything. Because that O means a lot. That O with his knockouts means a lot of money. Whether people want to, when he knocks out Roach, they're not gonna be, for the most part, they're not gonna be thinking about he's a 130 pounder coming up. Just like Keyshawn Davis fighting his third weight drained 140 pound fighter. No, when he beats him, nobody's gonna think of that. It's just us, only us hardcores. We know that he's not fighting the best.
No, yeah, and that's why we talk, because you can hear a lot of the sound bites or clips. I'm looking for what he said, but I'm having a hard time. Maybe I don't know if I saved it, but yeah, man, you have to see through the smoke and mirrors, like what should have said about Keyshawn Davis. And we'll probably see that with Carrington, where we just seen him damn near arguably lose. They'll probably play it safe and try to fool the public and bring a smaller fighter up and try to make it look good. That happens. But Tank is the cash cow, and his O is everything, because that's what his fans hold on to. It's like they can arguably say he's the best because look at Lomachenko, he has a loss. Zepeda and Stevenson still don't have a loss, but nobody considers them the best. But they put Tank Davis pound for pound, And like you said, he gets a lot of coverage, and he is like a lowercase face of boxing. But no, I'm glad you said that, man. That O is everything.
It is everything. It's why do you think Haney fought so hard to want to get this overturned? You know, if you know, he's still young enough. He's what, 25, 26?
I heard that
he's gonna be 26 this year. So let's say in 3-4 years, you know, this is all behind us, and you know, they're promoting him. Let's say he goes on a little streak or something. You know, saying the undefeated whatever it means a lot. It means a lot in a promotional scheme for networks. You know, it's not just for themselves. You know, networks. You know, they being able to promote an undefeated fighter champion means a lot. And so them protecting Tank with that O right now is area, especially he's about to be 30, man. So like, you know, I don't know how much longer his gravy train is gonna go for, but look how hard they now did to keep the train going. They're gonna pick up another 130. This is what his second in a row, second 130 pounder in the last year and a half.
Yep,
Garcia and this guy, right?
Yeah, bringing up a guy, but again, like you said, the general public is not really gonna pick up on that. You know,
nope.
His fans are probably casual boxing fans, which isn't a bad thing. I always say it's not a bad thing, but you kind of gotta peel the onion back. But I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I've been going almost 2 hours.
Oh shit!
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, man. Make sure you hit the noti so when you want to hop on, man, we can get it. You know, come on a little bit early. We go.
Yeah, absolutely. But, all right, man, Frank, man, thank you for having me on, guys.
Thank you, HLD. Thank you, Sobers. Thank you, Amok. Thank everybody for stopping by. Yeah, man, we broke it down. Chank is a cherry pick. It's not gonna do well pay-per-view. Thank everybody. Hawker, 18th Street, GQ. Hit the like in or on your way out. If you're listening first time, subscribe. Isaac Bermudez, 18th Street, Quechingues, Sergeant, Pounds. Who else we got? Alfredo. Yeah, man. Two Matador, man. Legacy, Batman, Mateo, Never Sobers, OG Blaze, Pounds, all the real ones, keeping it lit, keeping it going. Yeah, man. Cherry picking Tank. And don't let anybody else tell you that it's not. You know, you seen what we seen. Try to tell you it's not. This is what I say, man. Peace.
Look, whenever a man texts me and says, I hope you have a good day, I hope you have a good week, I hope that you shut the fuck up.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing.